Drive past an Amish farm, and you'll notice something strange. Even on the smallest plots of land, their crops grow tall, full, and thriving. Rows of corn stand thick, beans climb high, and vegetables seem almost oversized compared to the average backyard garden. Yet the Amish don't use chemical fertilizers, expensive hydroponics, or modern machinery. Their methods are simple, quiet, and often hidden in plain sight. The question is, how do they do it? How can a family without electricity or high-tech tools grow enough food not only to feed themselves, but to stock cellars, sell at markets, and even trade with neighbors, all from relatively small spaces? This is the secret modern gardeners are desperate to unlock. The Amish understand something most people have forgotten. You don't need more land, you need smarter land. Every inch of soil is treated like treasure. They don't waste space on lawns, ornamentals, or useless growth. They build gardens as systems, layered, efficient, and bursting with life. And the results look almost magical to the outside world. But here's the truth. There is no magic. There is discipline, tradition, and a set of practices passed down for generations that allow them to grow huge crops in places where others would think it's impossible. And once you start to understand these secrets, you realize any gardener, yes, even in a suburban backyard, could apply them too. The foundation, rich soil, built by hand. The first and most powerful Amish secret is simple but overlooked. Everything begins with the soil. While modern gardening often starts with raised beds from the hardware store or pre-mixed bags of fertilizer, Amish women and men treat their soil like a living thing to be nourished year after year. Before seeds ever touch the ground, the Amish invest countless hours into soil preparation. Manure from cows and horses, composted scraps from kitchens, and even ashes from wood stoves are carefully worked back into the earth. This isn't a quick process. It's a cycle. Every harvest gives back to the soil, building fertility instead of draining it. By springtime, what looks like ordinary dirt has transformed into black, crumbly soil alive with nutrients and earthworms. Here's the shocking part. Amish farmers don't need large fields because their small plots are so much richer per square foot. A tomato plant grown in deep living soil will produce twice what it would in lifeless dirt, and a patch of beans will climb higher and yield longer when their roots dig into fertile ground. To the Amish, the secret isn't about planting more. It's about planting in soil so good that less land produces more food. And the way they prepare it is as old as farming itself. No synthetic chemicals, no store-bought shortcuts, just patience, compost, manure, and a respect for the ground beneath their feet. It's a slow process, yes, but it creates a foundation so strong that once seeds go in, abundance follows naturally. Most modern gardeners never reach this level of soil fertility, which is why they struggle to grow more in small spaces. The Amish, on the other hand, have built up their land for generations, turning even the tiniest plots into thriving food factories. And that's only the first secret. The art of space, planting more in less. The second Amish secret to massive harvests in small areas is how they use space. Most modern gardens are laid out like miniature farms, neat rows with wide gaps, more soil left bare than planted. To the Amish, that's wasted opportunity. Instead, they see every inch of soil, every bit of sunlight, every drop of rain as a resource to be maximized. One way they do this is through tight planting. Seeds and seedlings are sown closer together than most gardening books recommend, but not so close that they choke one another. Lettuce grows in dense patches, carrots are sown in thick rows, and beans are planted almost shoulder to shoulder. This creates living carpets of food that shade the soil, hold in moisture, and discourage weeds. To an outsider, the garden looks overcrowded, but to the Amish, It is the perfect balance between growth and efficiency. Then comes vertical growing. Amish farmers are masters of using trellises, stakes, and natural supports. Beans climb poles, cucumbers stretch upward along fences, peas climb woven wooden lattices. By sending crops into the air instead of sprawling them on the ground, they double or even triple their productivity in the same square footage. Imagine harvesting 10 pounds of cucumbers from a fence line where others would let vines sprawl across half the garden. They also use interplanting, a technique of growing complementary crops side by side. Corn might rise tall with beans climbing its stalks, while squash sprawls below, shading the ground. Fast-growing radishes are tucked between slower crops like cabbage. Herbs fill in corners, deterring pests while providing seasoning for meals. This stacking of plants means that in the space where modern gardeners might get one crop, the Amish often harvest 2 or 3. What makes this strategy so effective is its elegance. They don't need expensive vertical garden kits, irrigation systems, or complex designs. A few poles, some twine, a wooden trellis built by hand. That's all it takes. And yet, the results are astonishing. More food, less wasted space, and gardens that look alive from top to bottom. This is the secret of Amish abundance. Think in layers, not rows. Where modern gardens waste space, the Amish transform it into food. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's a system anyone could copy, no matter how small their backyard. Rotation, pairing, and soil that never fails. Another Amish secret to pulling massive harvests from small gardens is how they treat the soil year after year. Most modern gardeners make the mistake of planting the same crops in the same spots, season after season. The result? Soil gets depleted, pests adapt, and yields shrink. Amish women and men know better. Their survival depends on it. They practice strict crop rotation. Corn one year, beans the next, cabbage after that. Each crop draws and gives back something different. Beans and peas, for example, fix nitrogen into the soil, enriching it for heavier feeders like corn and squash. Leafy greens thrive after root crops loosen the soil. This rhythm ensures that no patch of land is ever exhausted. It's constantly being renewed. Even in tiny plots, this rotation means the soil stays productive, harvest after harvest. Then there's the wisdom of companion planting. The Amish never think of crops as isolated rows. They think in terms of families. Tomatoes grow alongside basil to repel pests. Carrots and onions are paired because each masks the other's scent, confusing bugs. Beans climb corn stalks, while squash shades the ground, choking weeds. These partnerships are carefully chosen, not by charts in gardening books, but by generations of observation. The result? Stronger plants, fewer pests, richer yields, all without chemicals or extra space. Feeding the soil. Amish fertilizers that cost nothing. Modern gardeners rush to the store for bags of chemical fertilizer, pouring money into products that often damage the soil long-term. Amish women and men do the opposite. They feed their gardens with natural fertilizers that cost nothing but effort, creating soil so rich that crops practically leap from the ground. This is another secret to how they grow so much food in such little space. The first and most important is animal manure. Cows, horses, and chickens are more than livestock. They're soil builders. Amish families collect manure daily, allowing it to compost before spreading it back into the fields. Chicken manure, high in nitrogen, is perfect for leafy greens. Cow and horse manure add bulk and long-lasting fertility. Instead of being waste, manure becomes gold, turning a small patch of land into fertile earth that rivals industrial farms. Then there's the wood stove ash, an overlooked treasure in Amish households. Every morning, Ashes from the kitchen stove are carefully collected. Instead of being thrown away, they're scattered on garden beds. Rich in potassium and calcium, ash balances soil pH and strengthens crops like tomatoes, potatoes, and beans. This is a trick anyone could adopt, yet few modern gardeners realize its power. Another tool is compost. Amish women save every scrap, vegetable peelings, eggshells, even coffee grounds for those who allow it. Piled into heaps or bins, this organic matter breaks down over time into dark, nutrient-packed humus. Spread across even a small garden bed, it breathes new life into the soil. Unlike chemical fertilizers that give plants a short burst of growth, compost slowly enriches the ground, ensuring fertility for years to come. Amish farmers also rely on green manures or cover crops like clover and rye. Instead of leaving fields bare, they plant these between harvests, then plow them back into the soil. These crops act as natural fertilizer, adding nitrogen and organic matter while preventing erosion. It's a simple cycle: plant, plow, repeat. The soil grows stronger every season. What makes all of this so powerful is that it's free. No store runs, no synthetic chemicals, no expense. Just the byproducts of daily life: animals, ashes, scraps, cycled back into the earth. It's why their gardens don't just survive, they thrive. The Amish secret here is clear. If you feed the soil will feed you. And with this method, even the smallest patch of ground can produce astonishing harvests year after year. Outsmarting pests the Amish way. Most modern gardeners panic when pests appear. They reach for chemical sprays, powders, and traps that not only cost money, but also harm the soil and surrounding environment. Amish women and men, however, handle pests in a way that's both gentle and genius. Their secret? They design their gardens to resist pests naturally, using methods that protect crops without sacrificing space or productivity. One of their most effective tools is herbs and flowers planted alongside vegetables. Amish women often line gardens with marigolds, whose strong scent deters nematodes and beetles. Basil and oregano are tucked near tomatoes, warding off hornworms while enriching flavor. Dill and fennel are planted among cabbages to draw in beneficial insects that prey on caterpillars. What looks like a charming, colorful garden is actually a living defense system designed to confuse, repel, and fight pests without a drop of poison. They also rely on companion planting for pest control. Onions and carrots, for instance, are grown side by side because their smells cancel each other out, hiding the plants from pests that would normally feast on them. Beans and corn work together in the same way. While the corn provides a natural trellis, the beans discourage pests that attack corn roots. Every pairing is purposeful, every row calculated to protect its neighbors. Then there's the Amish approach to timing. They don't just plant whenever they feel like it. They study the seasons, the weather, and even the moon cycles to decide when seeds should go into the ground. This careful timing avoids peak pest cycles and reduces infestations naturally. For example, planting corn earlier than usual may allow it to mature before certain worms become active. It's not superstition, it's observation, honed through generations of trial and error. Physical barriers also play a role. Amish gardeners may cover delicate seedlings with cheesecloth or muslin until they're strong enough to resist pests. Some sprinkle ashes around plants to deter slugs or use crushed eggshells to keep crawling insects away. These tricks, while simple, save entire crops without ever needing expensive sprays. The most powerful aspect of their pest control strategy is balance. Instead of trying to wipe out every insect, Amish gardeners encourage a thriving ecosystem where beneficial bugs, birds, and even frogs help manage threats. Their gardens aren't sterile, they're alive, buzzing with relationships that keep plants strong. This is why their crops in small spaces grow so healthy and full. They're not fighting against nature, they're working with it. While modern gardeners exhaust themselves battling pests with chemicals, the Amish let the garden fight for itself. Water wisdom, growing more with less. Water is life in any garden, but here's the challenge. When you're working a tiny plot and depending on it for survival, every drop matters. Amish families know this better than anyone. Without modern sprinkler systems, hoses that run all day, or costly irrigation setups, they've developed timeless techniques to conserve water, trap moisture, and stretch small plots into overflowing harvests. One of their most powerful tools is mulch. Amish women cover garden beds with layers of straw, leaves, or even wood shavings from the carpenter's shop. This blanket holds moisture in the soil, keeps roots cool in summer, and suppresses weeds that compete with crops. A tomato plant mulched this way needs half the water of one left bare, yet it grows taller and bears more fruit. What looks like a simple layer of straw is actually one of the biggest secrets to Amish abundance. They also make use of rainwater collection. Even without modern tanks, Amish homes often have barrels set beneath gutters to catch rainfall. This free water is stored and carefully rationed for the most delicate plants. Instead of blasting a hose across an entire garden, they water only at the base of plants, soaking roots directly and wasting nothing. This precision ensures every cup of water counts. Another secret is the way they design their gardens. Raised rows or furrows direct rain toward crops instead of letting it run off. Small ditches carry water from one bed to another, spreading moisture evenly. In some communities, they even sink clay pots into the soil, filled with water. The porous clay releases moisture slowly at root level. This ancient technique, forgotten by most, keeps soil damp for days with minimal effort. Amish gardeners also focus on deep-rooted plants. By training crops like beans and corn to sink roots deeper into the ground, they make them more resilient to dry spells. Shallow-rooted plants like lettuce and radishes are placed together in shaded areas where less evaporation occurs. Every crop is positioned with water needs in mind, creating a garden that thrives with less. And here's the real brilliance. The Amish don't try to fight nature, they partner with it. Instead of forcing crops to grow in dry, sun-baked patches, they plant according to natural shade, use trellises to create cooler microclimates, and schedule watering in early morning or late evening when less is lost to evaporation. This is why their gardens stay green and lush, even when modern lawns around them turn brown. By conserving water, mulching heavily, and designing gardens to hold on to moisture, they get harvests that look impossible for such small spaces. The lesson? You don't need sprinklers or expensive irrigation. You need wisdom, patience, and the right techniques. And that's something Amish families have mastered for generations.